Well, thank you, Kanao. Kanao is really a giant in our profession, in agricultural rural development. He was also a CGI leader, a scientist at WADA, IFPRI, and ITA. And then, obviously, he was a driver when he led IFAD, driving the development agenda for achieving lots of goals he mentioned in his book. For example, agriculture development, smallholders as business, and women's empowerment and men's empowerment in agriculture, gender issues, youth. So, but for the book, and he's a bit moderating a couple of issues. One is resilience. So Kanao, I think you were one of the first speakers in the United Kingdom when we were together right after the Middle East refugee crisis. So lots of refugees came to Europe. So we were together in the UK Parliament. I think you made a very strong voice, very powerful, convincing argument that we must invest in agriculture, in rural development to solve the root causes of migration. I think that the resilience part, how can we really build the resilience in the, let's say, in the origin of the refugee crisis, that was very critical. The second is actually nutrition. Again, you are very modest on that. So under your leadership, with IFPRI's help, you try to mainstream nutrition into all your development program. I remember, again, I think this is probably the first in IFAD history to mainstream nutrition into all development programs. The third one is policy. Well, maybe this is self-interest. He was really a champion. Probably he continues to be a champion of policy work. In many occasions, I heard from you the policy, how important policy is. I remember in New York about a couple of years ago, then in Addis Ababa, again, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So policy, good policy, not just on paper, but more important is implementation of good policy. So I think the 3 areas are not in his book, but definitely these are the areas that Kanao has really worked. But today, Kanao is celebrating his career, but that does not mean his work will stop. He is the CGIAR System Management Board member and the ambassador of the CGIAR System Management Board. So the ambassador role is to go out to represent CGIAR, to mobilize resources, to bring CGIAR not just a national science agenda, I think CGIAR's agenda very high. So we are really expecting your leadership. In the meantime, Kanao also serves as a Compact 2025 Leadership Council. 3 years ago, I had a chance to talk with him in India when we celebrated Srimanathan's 90th birthday. So I shared that idea with him. Immediately he embraced the idea. Immediately he was willing to serve as the Leadership Council member, as a key member, to really push the agenda to end hunger and malnutrition by 2025. Again, so we're expecting your leadership, continued support, and a continued engagement to finish the business we have not finished. So with that, I want to thank you. Thank you, Kanao, once again, for your wonderful dialogue. So this is very different. I used to hear from him the formal presentation, but today, the dialogue is equally inspiring. And I also wanted to thank Kimberly and Julie for co-hosting this event at CSIS. This is the first one. I hope more events will come. Once again, thank you, Kanao, for your great dialogue over here.